Welcome back, everybody. How you doing? How has this Mercury retrograde been treating you? Tell me. Feel free to say hi. Hop in the chat. Let us know where you're joining from. Oops, I got septum mustache going on again with this light. I like to have light on my face because it's dark in this room, but I get a little shadow under my ring, so that's weird. Christine says, hello, Jacqui and lovely tribe. Hello, Christine. Jacqui, greetings, Jacqui and lovely friends. It feels like it's been so long since we've been together. Tell me about it. These last few weeks, I feel like I've been here just like once, maybe twice a week, which is not normal. I don't know, what is normal? I don't do anything normal, but yeah, it's been some time. I think I saw you guys last Wednesday, so it's been a week. Yeah. And we were talking about Mars stationing direct. How has your energy been increasing over the last week? Especially energy related to your thoughts, Mars and Gemini. I'm still playing with this light because I don't like it just yet. Carmen, hello, Jacqui from Toronto. Thanks for joining us, Carmen. Hi, Bonnie. Bonnie says, hi, tribe. Lucy, hello, bonjour all. Things be crazy. I'm emotional. We'll talk about that. It's happening to the best of us. Alicia, hi all. Have had ups and downs with emotions. Yes. Bonnie has energy off the hook. Likewise, so I've mentioned it a few times, my natal Mercury is retrograde. So when the transiting Mercury stations retrograde, I am just like on a high. Like my thought process is so good, like it's so fast, but it's not jumbled. It's just like streamlined, like boom, 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 let's do this. And then we had Mars stationing direct, so then that energy came back. Bonnie has Sun, Moon, and Mercury in Capricorn. This is your time to shine. This is your season. So just to keep you guys in the loop, I started a couple new projects, right? Who would have thought? So I've been talking about Embody Astrology. I just sent out the email this morning. So if you're subscribed to my email list, it'll be in your inbox. But I am starting like a zodiac journey with you guys. So it begins officially on St. Patrick's Day, right before Aries season. So the official start of this Patreon group starts March 17th. However, you can join early and there's some freebies to get ready to go. So you can join in early for some Aquarius journaling prompts or for some Pisces guided meditations. However, this group in general, it's a collaborative thing, like everything that I do, right? Because I'm not your guru, by the way. Sorry if you thought that I was. So it's going to be 2 group Zoom calls each zodiac season. The first one, I'll introduce the upcoming zodiac season and I will give you guys some ideas of how to embody that energy into your life so that we can flow with the universe, right? Flow with the seasons. And then we'll meet again halfway through the season just to do a little check-in, give some support, ask some questions, get some clarification and all that stuff. So that is project number 1. If you are not on my email list, you can sign up through my website, which you can find on my Insight Timer bio. And I also yesterday, I've had the idea to do a podcast in the back of my mind for maybe 6 months. And the universe has just been dropping hints, like giving people to me that I could interview on my podcast. And then I pulled some tarot yesterday about it, pulled some oracle about it, and I was like, all right, it's time. So I just whipped out my microphone and I recorded a pilot. So that is going to be on my YouTube channel. So feel free to follow me on YouTube. Just search my name, Jacqui Mancuso. And this podcast is really just going to be me having conversations with people in the woo-woo community. So getting different perspectives and getting different insights on why things are the way they are. So yeah. That's what I got going on. Just informing you. Just embracing my human design manifestor traits and informing you all what I'm doing. Because I know once I get going, I'm like a rocket ship. Like once I get that burst of energy, beautiful. Let's see. Carrie says, hi, I've been overly tuned into everything and very aware of really what's happening. That we'll talk about that too. Yes. Jacqui saw the email about embodied astrology. Beautiful. Good morning, Helen. And hello, Ashlyn. Can't wait to listen. Lovely. I'm excited. Helen, blast off, Rocket Woman Jacqui. It's time. Sometimes the universe just gives me that, and that's why. But let's see how you guys can blast off right now. So we have Mercury stationing direct today, Wednesday, January 18th. I believe he is direct. I think he stationed direct within the last hour, maybe last half hour. So we are officially in forward motion. Mercury is currently at 8 degrees of Capricorn, so I always suggest looking at your natal chart to see what part of your natal chart is being influenced by these energies. Mercury stationed retrograde on December 29th at 24 degrees of Capricorn. So he's passed back from 24 all the way to 8, allowing us to review our thoughts. Mercury is the planet of communication, the whole mental plane. And Capricorn is a cardinal earth sign, so we're viewing what we really envision for our future, rethinking the practicalities of what we see for our highest life, right? And now that Mercury is stationing direct, now is the time that we decide if we manifest those thoughts, right? Because we can have a whole movie playing around up in here, but if we don't take the action to start the thing in motion, it's not gonna come. So now that Mercury's direct, this is the time to manifest with your words. So from today until February 7th, this is what some of the astrologers would call the shadow period, and I actually just came across this definition of the shadow period and I like it. So from now until February 7th, Mercury is going to be passing over those 8 to 24 degrees of Capricorn, and so that's the shadow. But this is the third time that he's going over that. So the first time that Mercury moved between 8 and 24 degrees of Capricorn, that was kind of like you're on autopilot for the most part, right? Unless you're like a total mindset, mindfulness person and you're always thinking about every action you're doing. Most of us are not there yet, right? So the first Passover was kind of our thoughts on autopilot. And then Mercury retrograded back over those degrees, and that's when we kind of got to review and rethink and redo everything that we did on autopilot. Now that we're going back for the third time, this is our opportunity for redos. So the retrograde was kind of the period for us to say, oops, I messed up in that area. Oops, that's not what I want. And now the universe is giving us a chance to change our thoughts and words about that area of our life. So if you have no idea how to find the degrees in your chart, what I would suggest is looking for the Capricorn image on the outside of your natal chart. How do I describe it? It looks like a circle with a little hat. If you use astro.com, it's green. Green because it's an earth sign. But if you look to where Capricorn is, the whole chunk of Capricorn, you can see which house or houses are being affected by Capricorn. And then just a quick internet search, or I actually just put a description in the group, our spiritual community, about what all the 12 houses mean. So it's recent, you can find it easily. But then you can see what areas of your life may be in play with this Mercury retrograde. So now that we're given this opportunity to change how we're thinking and speaking about this part of our life, we might probably be presented with opportunities to allow us to fall into old habits, to allow us to have that choice of, am I going to keep this negative self-talk? Am I going to keep this realism with a side of pessimism attitude about this situation? Or is it time for me to change my words, change my thoughts, change my internal dialogue about this situation? This retrograde has also been positively supported by Uranus. Thank you, Uranus. Uranus is, I think he might be my favorite planet. Uranus is the planet of the rebel, the free thinker. He brings unexpected change. He brings earthquake energy, just these unexpected, I wish I had a better word for it, but you had no idea that this was going to be the thing, and then boom, there it is. Go with it. This is for the best of everyone. Like Uranus is Aquarius energy. Uranus is that humanitarian, like this is weird, but it's for the good of all. And Uranus has been trining Mercury through his whole retrograde. So he's kind of been like calling across the sky to Mercury, like, hey, don't forget, you can do things weird. You can be a rebel. You don't have to do what everyone else was doing. Like, it's okay if you're thinking about making a radical change in your life or in the collective. Uranus has kind of been giving you that double thumbs up through this whole retrograde, and he's continuing to trine Mercury now that Mercury is stationing direct. So he might be that encouraging half devil, half angel on your shoulder, encouraging you to do something radical. So if you've been having a nagging thought or 2 or 12 about like how you want to change the world, like what you think that the world needs in order to bring us into this new earth, Uranus has kind of been shouting, whispering on your shoulder. I don't know how, it depends how he's interacting with the rest of your chart, but like he's been calling to you to do something radical. This Mercury retrograde has also been squaring Jupiter. So squares bring tension, but tension that always leads to growth. Jupiter is the planet that expands everything. So the way that I see this is that there's been some tension between the mental plane and how big those thoughts have been. So things may appear to be blown out of proportion right now. So like issues that you may see in your personal life, issues that you may see on the world stage, everything right now might just be a little bit amplified, but for a reason. Not to overwhelm you, but to just kind of like throw it in your face to let you know, like, this doesn't have to be a giant problem, but hey, this is an issue that needs your attention right now. Like, look at it. So, you may have been experiencing some arguments in your life that have been happening more frequently. They may be more amplified, a little bit more juicy, a little bit bigger. However, again, squares lead to growth. So Jupiter right now is kind of giving us some tough love, right? He's expanding what needs your attention, because Mercury trine Uranus, like Jupiter is expanding your awareness of what needs your attention, what might need a radical shift from Uranus. So we have this little triangle of play between Mercury, Jupiter, and Uranus. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Christine, I have Mercury in my 12th house next to Capricorn. Still not following all of this. That's okay, Christine. You're picking up exactly what your guides want you to pick up. You come back for a reason. Helen, change your thinking, change your life 100%. Jackie, yesterday I told myself I needed to just change my thoughts on a conversation I had with my husband. And then I was done dwelling. I love that, Jackie. I love that. That's Uranus, right? Like, hey, do it completely different. Do something that you've never done before. Boom. Fixed. I love it. Hello, Dr. Monica. Just got here. Sounds like this is spot on beautiful. Alicia says, my thoughts do seem overwhelming at times. Yeah, Jupiter's been squaring Mercury. I think throughout this whole retrograde, I didn't really look back at the degrees, but Jupiter is creating tension with his expansion, his blow, like a balloon on your mental plane. Cynthia agrees with Helen. Change my thoughts, change my life. I love it. All right, this is not my favorite topic because I love to keep things lighthearted. However, quick side note, I've been coming into contact. So, my husband is a Sagittarius. I have a couple students who are Sagittariuses. I just came in contact with another astrologer who's a Sagittarius. So, like, all of this Sagittarius energy, and what is it? It's for January. I pulled the Temperance card as one of my affirmations. So, I'm like learning how to, this blending of energies. Anywho, all of the, and they're all men. All these Sagittariuses are men, and they're all giving me this like realism way of life, and I've been viewing realism as pessimism. Like, it's been a thought pattern of mine that if you don't see things pretty and optimistic, then it is pessimistic. But I'm learning right now this blend of like walking the middle path, like seeing the positive, seeing the negative, but choosing to just observe both while you go. Christine, you would say that realism is pessimistic. I've had conversations with, so I have two students who are like 17, 18 years old, very wise young men, let me tell you. And we've had some very interesting conversations because you guys know me. I'm this little ball of love. I come in with like, oh, everything can be perfect. Just change your thoughts, change your life. Like, that's my energy. And they've come back at me with this not so pessimistic, real way of looking at life, and it's just an interesting thing. So I said that story because we also have it can be a challenging aspect happening today. It happens once every year, and we have the sun coming conjunct to Pluto. And this is going to happen actually while we're live. This is going to happen in about 15 minutes exact. It might be right now. I don't know. I just did some quick calculations, but whatever. Pluto's a big outward orbit. Like, this is big energy. So the sun is coming conjunct Pluto at 28 degrees of Capricorn. So this is like highlighting the last few challenges that we are to overcome through this Pluto through Capricorn transit. Okay, let me explain. The sun, whenever the sun comes to conjunct a planet, he shines his light on this planet. He supercharges the energy of this planet. Pluto is the destroyer. And this is for me, guys, I'm trying to like talk about this and not feel bad energy. It just is, right? So, Pluto is the destroyer. He's the planet that crosses, like, as he crosses over placements, he's just like ripping everything up, digging all the way down as deep as he can, like bringing up all these secrets, all these hidden parts of things, and just like showing you, right? And now we have the sun to shine the light on all of these perhaps shadows that have been down there for all this time, right? Happening in Capricorn, in mundane astrology, that's the astrology that Pam Gregory talks about, that in my understanding is like world astrology, like events. So Capricorn can represent the government. Capricorn can represent our top-down structures where we're Saturn limited by others. So the sun coming to conjunct Pluto, not exactly today, right? Something, I would not be surprised if this week something were to erupt on the world stage. If there were to be some large like exposure, some secret being brought to light, the sun is shining right on Pluto as he's like wrapping up this little transit, not this little transit, he's been there since 08, but as he's wrapping up his ending in Capricorn. This could also, right, because like astrology, it affects the world, it affects you personally as well. So on a personal level, things may be coming to light regarding Capricorn themes. So there may be some like exposure in themes of money in your life, things of belongings, your work. Capricorn can also rule like the father, your parental energy, your authority in your life. Or wherever 28 degrees of Capricorn lies in your chart, just look for the end of where Capricorn is, whatever house that's in. There could be something that's just like oh, I didn't really want to know that, but now I know that, and I have to deal with it. So this doesn't need to be like a bad transit, especially because this is happening within hours of Mercury stationing direct. So we've had this like Mercury retrograde, right? Reviewing how we're thinking about all these Capricorn structures. And now Mercury's like, okay, I had some time to rethink. I'm going to start moving forward. And then the sun is like, look at this. So this is like our invitation, right? The universe is kind of giving us an invitation to see what is happening, and we're invited to lean into our ideas for New Earth, what we want to create in our world. We always get the choice. We can choose to stand and like gawk at what the sun is illuminating, or we can see what the sun is illuminating on Pluto and say, I don't necessarily resonate with that. I'm going to choose, right? I'm going to use my forward thinking to start moving and getting things in place for what I want. And this can look like beginning to make the small steps to usher in the world that you desire, right? You don't need to move mountains in a day. By doing those little tiny things, I can't tell you how much my life has completely shifted upside down by making one small change, maybe even once a week, right? Keeping your sights on the grand scale, like looking further than what you want, I guess is another way to say it, but like keeping the vision of the exact world that you want and then making progress in your immediate environment to influence that. So, I was just reflecting on what I've been doing to give you guys some ideas, but in the grand scale, I view the upcoming world as community based, going back to like literally like the 1800s or even like Native American type things, where like you have your tribe and everyone has a job, and then the community just functions in that little, and it's okay to have these little groups. So that's just what I see working for my energy. So how am I starting to create that in my life? I just bought a bunch of garden boxes, and I'm going to start this like awesome garden this year. The universe like plopped these, I'm getting like 18 cubic feet of garden boxes for like $50. The universe delivered that to me. So I'm making these like small changes to create what I want. Something else, like I don't want to see people getting harmed from cleaning products and beauty products that have like nasty chemicals in them. So what I'm doing is I make my own toothpaste, I make my own multi-purpose cleaner. I've experimented with shampoo and conditioner, still getting there. I make my own like face oil. I make my husband's beard oil, like stuff like that. So I'm doing it on a small scale, and I'm focusing my energy on how healthy we are because of that. And because I'm focusing my energy there and not on what I don't want, I'm viewing more people doing the same. And you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you can just take small steps right now to impact your current environment in relation to how you want the grand scheme to work. Sharon does her own deodorant. I love it. I experimented with that, and then I kind of said, forget it. I don't really sweat that much, so I just don't. Ashlyn's got some gardens going on. I love it. I love it. Kelly, Sun is conjunct Pluto right now, right on my Mercury and Moon in Capricorn. Kelly, this is an interesting time for you. It might be very uncomfortable at the moment, especially your moon right there, but girl, this is going to be great for you. You choose where your focus goes. It's okay to acknowledge, so here's that realism. It's okay to acknowledge, like, shit's hitting the fan right now. But then you can take the realism and you can choose to view it pessimistically, like, oh, this is going to ruin my life, or optimistically, like, I'm excited about what's coming. You have a cold and have to rest, and yep, sitting with it. I love it. Love it. I love it. Cynthia, love the shift of seeing and choosing to blend the positive and negative. then to remain centered and knowing the highest wisdom for myself. I love it, Cynthia. Kelly, Mercury direct, square Jupiter. So yeah, let's see if something gets revealed on the world stage today. And again, it might not be today, it might be like sometime this week, because this is a lingering, right? Like it's coming exactly conjunct right now, but conjunctions, at least in my interpretation of astrology, is within 10 degrees on either side. So Trish, I don't necessarily agree with the blanket statement that realism equals pessimism, especially if it's observational, example based on facts and truths. And yeah, I'm not trying to like tell you guys that my blanket statement is what it is. I was just saying that like that's what's been my interpretation over the past, and it's changing. I absolutely agree with taking steps. What? I absolutely agree with that. Steps to taking care of your health. I love it. I love it. All right, so I'm gonna pull some cards today, and I had an interesting way of asking for our messages. So normally I'll pull 3 cards and I have you guys tune into your intuition to see which message is calling most strongly to you. You can still use that format today. However, I'm going to make a slight change. I'm going to pull the first card asking the energy of Sun conjunct Pluto. Like, what message would you like to bring forward for everyone watching this right now? Sun conjunct Pluto. What do you want us to know? Second card I'm going to pull for the Mercury square Jupiter energy. What do you want us to know regarding that Mercury square Jupiter, that tension of blowing thoughts out of proportion? And then the third card I'm going to ask about Mercury trine Uranus. So a card for like, what radical changes do you want us to make with our thoughts? So today we're going to pull from the Work Your Light Oracle deck. From Rebecca Campbell. Keep it a little woo-woo. And then we'll see how much time we have at the end. If I will pull from a different deck, I'll keep it a surprise. Jacqui, of course, I'll repeat it a million times, especially for myself. Like, I need to keep that on track. And again, so I put all of the recordings of these sessions on my YouTube channel, so you can just search Jacqui Mancuso on YouTube, subscribe so that you can be notified when I post my new ones, and I also will give a brief text overview of the cards in our spiritual community. So that is the group that I have here on Insight Timer. So you can follow our spiritual community to get that, and also, you know, just be a part of our group, share some meditations and wisdom and learnings and all that stuff. Ashlyn, I just started rereading Light is the New Black. Love this. I've never heard of that. And what a good time, Mercury retrograde, to reread something. I love it. So feel free, guys, to send your energy into this deck, however that feels right to you. Send it through your eyeballs, send it through your breath. You can physically touch the screen. Just throw your energy into this deck. And let's see. So we're asking for the first card to come from the energy of Sun conjunct Pluto. So this first card is just a message from that energy. Love it. Second card is coming from the energy of Mercury square Jupiter. Cool, that was easy. Third card is coming from the energy of Mercury trine Uranus. These cards wanted to come out today. That was very cool. Yeah, if you guys have been following me, you know that sometimes it takes a while to shuffle them out. So I'm not going to show you the backs of the cards today. We're just going to go at it. Oh, that's Rebecca Campbell's first book. Or book. I love it. And I think this deck is all mumble jumble, so I need to actually look at the table of contents. All right. First message. This is coming from the energy of the sun shining his light on Pluto the Destroyer. What message does this energy want us to know? And the message today is unbound. Releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. Oh, I can't wait for this. Yes. It's time to release old soul stories that have been playing out in your life. They are coming up to be healed. There has never been a safer time to clear these patterns than right now. Take a look at patterns in your life that you are ready to release. Ancient vows and contracts that your soul made that have an expiration date. It could be a vow of silence or chastity or poverty. It's time to unwind from them. This is the life in which you free yourself from trauma of lives past. What old ways of being have an expiration date? When you name them, you claim them, and they stop holding power over you. When acknowledging these old patterns, it's also important to acknowledge how they have served you up until now. For example, a soul pattern of playing small, caused by a soul fear of being seen or sharing your voice, would have served you by keeping you safe. In order to grow, you now need to soften by receiving and calling in support. It is time to unbind from the old ways of being that are no longer sustainable. Yes. Kelly, this is Work Your Light by Rebecca Campbell. And what a more perfect card from the energy of exposure, right? This is the time for you to recognize what is not working anymore. And if that takes literally the light of the sun to come and shine on all the shadows that you haven't been ready to look at yet, so be it. This is a time to, like, when all of these negative emotions come up, these unwanted emotions, when they come up, that's their signal to you that they're ready to be processed and expelled. So when things come up and when stuff happens in your life and it makes you feel uncomfortable, sit with it and try to figure out why, what is causing this feeling, what just happened that led to this uprising of this uncomfortable feeling. And then this card is saying, don't just throw it away and say, that's not mine anymore, I don't want it, I'm better than that. It's take time to honor the lessons and the place in your life that these things have brought you to. Trying to give you guys an anecdote because apparently you like them. So this is talking about, for example, a soul pattern of playing small caused by a fear of being seen or sharing your voice. Yeah, so that's something that I'm working through right now. I've had this soul pattern of kind of just playing in the background. When I was working for companies, I really liked doing the background work. I'd always do inventory back a house, I'll just go run things in the background and then it'll look great. But now I'm realizing that was a fear of mine. It was a fear for me to share my thoughts, to share what my experiences were. And the more I open up and literally share my voice, that's what I'm doing here, and it's still blowing my mind. The more I'm seeing growth in myself, I'm seeing growth in all of you guys, and it's serving me to open up and blah, this is what this is talking about. Helen had a big wake-up call this morning. I love the do unto others what you would have them do unto you. Did you have something happen this morning, Helen? Actually, let's keep talking about this Unbound card because I forgot to light my incense. How is that Unbound card resonating with you guys? Is there something uncomfortable that's coming up right now that you maybe don't necessarily want to address? Because, surprise, it's the universe telling you that this is the exact... They're right here, Jacqui. That's the universe telling you, this is the time to address it. Maybe those arguments is what, maybe those arguments that may have been coming up in your life, maybe that's the universe telling you, you don't stand for that anymore. Whatever treatment was put onto you that caused the argument, that's not in alignment with you anymore. Here's your opportunity to address it. Helen, but I realized I was supporting another way more than they were supporting themselves and us. I can do a whole talk on that. Good for you, Helen. Christine, oh, you're hitting an interesting spot in me. Ooh. That's been our culture, is like something is uncomfortable, tuck it away. Nope, it's not there. I'm just going to pretend that everything is good and gravy. Which sometimes is, like that's kind of a survival instinct, Sometimes you do need to just, like, I can't do this right now. But if you forget about it, then it like just sits there and it lingers and it grows and, It's important. That's why rest is so important. Taking the time to turn off everything else that's happening in your life and go within for a second and say, like, okay, I'm ready to address some stuff. What needs to be addressed right now? Because we're not always able to process these things as they come up. Like sometimes if you're having an argument, you got to step away until you're less emotional to come back and address the issue. Same thing with feelings in yourself. Sometimes you put pause, right? It's not a stop, it's a pause. Alchemize what comes up. Yes, turn the darkness into light. Pam, I'm new here today, but so glad you are using your voice here, and it's inspiring to me because I need to do the same. Let me be your source of empowerment. I think that's one of my favorite things to do in this incarnation, is to just show others through my own example that you guys are completely capable of literally everything that I'm doing. I know nothing about you, but I'm telling you, no matter who you are completely capable of everything that I'm doing. I needed to hear that a few times when I was getting started. Christine, what did I tell you about matches? They work too. I love it. Pam, Jacqui is welcoming you. Love it. Alexandra, my health, letting things go. My doctor is finally taking me seriously and calling me today with a plan of action and referrals after a year of being physically sick with no answers. Good on you, Alexandra, for using your assertive communication. It's not easy when your health is in the hands of someone else and they just don't take you seriously. But here we go, Mercury direct. It's the time of like using your voice for a different reason. Codependent no more is a recommendation for Helen from Kay, and we can look at every negative supposed experience as a positive gift for something much better. Yes, Alexandra, I hope this is it for me today. Shining a light needs to be done finally. I love it. Adversity equals our greatest teacher. Absolutely, Lynn. Christine, I've been putting myself out there more, even though it's uncomfortable. Those are all like internal self-limiting beliefs. The real people in this world, like the ones who don't judge anything that you do, are the ones that you're attracting, right? When you are yourself and when you just let it flow. The people who may want to judge you for being yourself are the people who still have some work to do. And if they just might not necessarily be aligned with your highest path. So don't let others dim your light. Like, don't dim your light to please others. Samantha, it's especially hard when we are afraid to address things out of fear of protecting other people's feelings. Then we end up carrying so much. Absolutely, Samantha. I love it. All right, guys, the second card was Mercury square Jupiter. So we asked the energy of our thoughts being blown out of proportion by Jupiter, by this Jupiter, right? He's big. What is this energy trying to communicate to us? Okay, so the card that we got was Akasha. Your guidance is divinely guided. Mercury square Jupiter, expanding thoughts with tension for your highest growth. Akasha exists in the fifth dimension and the library of souls. All soul contracts, history, gifts, lessons, and more exist here. We each have access to this information of the past, present, and future, and can tap into it at any time. While we have free will, there are also points on the timeline of our lives that are predestined or pre-planned. Soul contracts or agreements that were made before incarnating. It could be a company you chose to work for, a relationship you planned to have, or a person you agreed to mentor or help. Whatever it is, know that it is divinely guided and will not bypass you. If you are waiting for a sign to proceed, this card is it. You are likely living out an important part of your soul's journey, and you are exactly where you need to be. This is very exciting indeed. It is time to call in the support of your helpers, both in the physical realm and the spirit world, to trust the signs that are coming, to take note of your dreams, to notice any feelings or visions that you receive, or you are tapping into the wisdom of the Akasha and you are being given the go-ahead to proceed. Whatever thoughts, guys, are being blown out of proportion right now, it's part of your soul contract. This is like Jupiter is here to highlight the path to growth, like the path to working through your karma, working through the highest expansion of your soul right now. I want to know some like specific examples so I can have like a jumping point on this. But if you like, what can be blown out of proportion for you right now? If there is like, if there's something that's happening at work that is just taking up all of your brain space, like you leave and you want to leave this situation there, but it follows you home and it's just like circling around in your brain, if you know you can't stop thinking about it, that's the Mercury Jupiter square here, like showing you maybe there's something about this situation that is not in alignment with your soul's highest purpose. It's time to shift something, it's time to change something. If there has been like blowing thoughts out of proportion in relationships, like if like you're in a relationship and your partner's acting in a certain way that's really like triggering something in you, it's really causing a big like you can't stop thinking about it. You know, like sometimes in relationships, like we have issues and then you're able to like, okay, I'm over that, you know, like we worked through that, I get it, I'm not gonna like dwell on it. But if there's something that you've just been like dwelling and like stepping away from something that doesn't work anymore is extremely scary. And I'm not here to tell you, like, if you're feeling tension in your relationship, it's time to leave. Not at all. You'll trust your intuition. Like, you know. If it's literally just the fear of starting over that's holding you back, to me, that's a sign that this relationship is over. But if it's the fear of like losing the person, losing the good things of the person, then that might be a signal from your Akasha that it's, wrong side, that it's time to like work through. This could be a karmic relationship where you guys are here to work through some nasty tension in order for you both to grow and ascend. One and two together. Bonnie. Oh yeah, if something is being brought to light right now that is... I just get like a weird like zigzag feel inside me. If something's happening that's not like flowing with you, this could be your Akashic guides telling you like this is not predestined for you. You have the opportunity to change, which is our next card, Mercury trine Uranus, radical change. Let's see what comes of that. Pam can't decide if and how to leave my marriage. Helen asks, Pam, is it serving your highest good? That's a huge thing. I can't give marriage advice because I don't know anything about your situation, but it's all let the universe guide you, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, ask for signs, ask for signals, ask for clarification. Something that I just did, so I've been curious about this for a while. So, like, I study astrology, but I rarely look at my own chart in depth, and I rarely look at my husband's chart in depth. And I've been asking for years for us to have a couples reading, just to understand, to get someone else's perspective on, like, what do you see in our chart? Because I'm so emotionally attached to things. So I asked for it as a gift. Sister-in-law purchased this astrology reading for us. And it was really interesting to hear someone else's opinion on, like, why my husband and I argue the way that we do. We argue a lot, right? And that's something that, like, in society, you're not supposed to argue. But having someone else take a fresh look at our chart, he was like, there's so much tension in your relationship, but it's all for your highest growth. So, like, learning how to argue, learning how to push each other's buttons, and learning how to not take it so personally, and understand that, like, oh, he's pushing my buttons right now because he wants me to grow. So this is a very, like, expansive relationship for us. So, like, in the beginning of us, it was extremely tumultuous. Like, there was arguments like every other day, and I am not an argue person. I am a peace person. All I want is, like, serenity and calm waters. But something in me knew that, like, no, we're making progress through this. Like, yeah, we argue about the same thing over and over, but it's a deeper level of the argument every time. So my intuition, like, led me to stick with it. And then I asked for this clarification. I got some clarification from this external party. Just let it, So ask the universe for signs. You never know who you're going to call in to say that one sentence that you might need to hear about your situation. If you keep getting strong signs in both directions, it might mean that, like, it's not the right time. It might be coming in the future, but there still might be something that needs to be done now before it breaks. Jody, that's a really good question. Is your marriage preventing your true self from living? That's a loaded question too, because is it your marriage that's preventing your true self from living, or is it your own insecurities of showing your true self that are being triggered by your partner that is preventing you from living your true self? Oh, Bonnie, are you referencing my story or something else in the chat? I haven't been watching the chat. I got off on a tangent. And I want to read through this Mercury trine Uranus and try to wrap it up. So we had Sun conjunct Pluto. Things are being exposed that are ready to shift. Mercury square Jupiter. What is being blown out of proportion is that it's for you to recognize. Things are being blown out of proportion to shine that light on it, to let you know, like, hey, examine this. Is this on your soul path? But let's see how this portion of the reading wraps up with Mercury trine Uranus. So this card is coming from the energy of radically shifting the way that you think about your situation, radically changing the way that you talk about your situation. This could even be like receiving information. That went right to my eyeball. I didn't do that on purpose. Receiving information from the universe that is just weird. Is the best way to say it. The message from the Mercury trine Uranus energy is dance with life. Do something to change your energy. Oh man, life is always moving. If you resist this ever-changing flow, your energy will become stagnant and you will fall out of flow with the universe. The universe has a mysterious, intelligent force, a natural rhythmic beat which governs all of life. One of the best ways to shift your energy frequency and vibration is to put on some music and dance along with it. Oh, Helen, I love dancing. When we dance unrestrained, our spirit takes over. And with each new loop, with each new bop, sway, and kick, we are rocked back into harmony with the rest of our life. Get unstuck by doing something that shifts your vibration. Put on some music, dance unrestrained, and fall into the frequency of life. In doing so, your body will begin to learn how to be moved by your intuition, which is connected to this systemic beat. If dancing isn't your thing, then simply do something that you would not usually do to shift the energy. You don't say Uranus, huh? You cannot solve a problem with the same mind that created it. And you cannot attract a different experience without changing your energy first. It's time to shift things up and to find a way to dance along with the beat of life. I'm seeing like your life in general as your dance partner. And in this situation, no matter what your gender is, if you are let the universe lead you, let your life lead you, let your life lead the dance, because the universe has all of the best intentions for you. I can promise you that. It's you that's holding yourself back. Sorry for the tough love. That's what it is. I'm discovering it in myself. It's so freeing to let go of like me shrinking my life because of my fear. If you allow the universe to guide the dance of your life, when the universe steps left, that means you got to step right to go with it. You know, in your perspective, the universe might be stepping right because, you know, dance, mirror. But when the universe, you know, steps into you, you might need to step back and just watch. Like, wow, this is what it wants to do for me. And when the universe steps back and allows you to step forward, that's when it's time for you to take charge and make a step. Watch the dance. This is a beautiful, I'm just going to throw it out there right now. I'm going to end this live in just a few minutes because Katrina Boss, every Wednesday at 9 a.m., which started 7 minutes ago, she leads an ecstatic dance movement therapy session, which I will be going to. I am inviting you to come with us. It's on Insight Timer. It's happening right now. But this was literally the card of saying, like, somatic movement, like shake your body around and get this energy out of you. Stop thinking for 20 minutes. Come dance with us for 20 minutes. It's not very long. Get the energy moving in your body. Like, move parts of your body that you maybe haven't moved in a few times, like in a few years, decades, you know, who knows. Watch the stuff come up. Ask your guides if it is in your highest purpose. Do things a little differently and see the changes that come. If you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you've always got. I'm going to end it there. Definitely forgot to ask for donations today. If you guys enjoyed today's session, if you'd like to offer an energy exchange in the form of a donation, they are always appreciated. This recording will go on YouTube. What was the name? Katrina Boss is the, I think you might be asking about a book, but Katrina Boss is the Insight Timer teacher whose session is underway. So just come. You're alone in your house, right? Even if people are home, whatever, go close the door. But just allow yourself to move the emotions through your body, process through movement. Okay, we've been in our heads for the last 3 weeks with Mercury retrograde internal. Let it go. Go move. That's my wisdom for today. I'll see you guys on Friday. Friday's going to be a long session. We have a big weekend coming up of radical change. I'm excited about it. So be prepared for maybe like an hour and a half on Friday. Who knows? 144 meditators here. 144 is just a beautiful number. So much loaded energy behind it. Follow me on Insight Timer. Follow me on YouTube. Join my newsletter. My website's in my Insight Timer personal bio because I want to stay connected with all of you. Thanks for your support. Thanks for being here and being a part of this tribe. Come dance with us. Namaste. Love to all. I'll see you guys